So this was the hashtag PPP clue for today's video, where I danced to co-ed school song, Too Late. Congratulations to Nancy Barajas, Ryan99121, II Ishita, Dan Gold Personal, Just Maria, Millicent Army, Alessa Trey, Scene Pikachu, Jesse Army JM, and SJ Han Dances for getting it correct. If you'd like a chance on my next video, then be sure to follow me on Instagram and stay tuned for my next hashtag PPP clue. K-pop! A billion-dollar industry that has broken records, dominated music charts, and launched the careers of some of the most popular stars today. But for every BTS or Blackpink, there are thousands of failed idols. People who have worked just as hard, but whose names remain unheard and faces remain unrecognized. Hi, I'm Evangeline, and you guys may not know this, but I'm one of those people who goes to the Louvre not to look at the Mona Lisa, no. You'll probably catch me staring at medieval paintings, fascinated by how they managed to make their babies look so goddamn ugly. I mean, just look at some of them. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is, I'm kind of weird. And you know, I really enjoy researching the obscure. So when it comes to K-pop, it was obviously up to me to go in search of these idols that few have searched for, to take an interest in these idols that no one cared about, and to uncover their fascinating stories that nobody bothered covering, so that I can bring you this series that you probably never asked for. Cue the intro. Today on the Unluckiest Idol, 16 years, 6 companies, 3 groups, and 2 survival shows weren't enough to launch the career of this unlucky idol. With the release of her latest solo track, will she finally find her place in the K-pop industry? In this video, we'll be discussing the tragic career of 28-year-old Huh Chanmi, also known as Starlight Chanmi. But before that, do you know what's even more tragic? Basically, I actually set up my Patreon page over a month ago, and so far nobody has joined. I was originally planning to host a live Q&A session, but obviously if there's no one on my Patreon, then there really isn't a point. So if just 5 people join my Patreon by the end of this week, then I will be hosting the live stream at this time right here. So yeah, if you'd like for us to get to know each other better, or you'd like to come and chat, or you'd just like to make me feel like less of a failure, then please head over to my Patreon. The links will be in the description below. Alright, enough of my sob story. Let's get back into the video. Okay, let's start from the beginning. And by beginning, I mean 16 years ago. 2004. Chanmi's career began at the tender age of 12 when she was recruited by one of the biggest K-pop agencies, SM Entertainment, as a prospective member for their upcoming girl group. In fact, the company took multiple photos of possible member configurations, and there's Chanmi decked out in attire that I can only describe as very early 2000s. But you might also recognize some of the other faces in this photo, because they went on to become a group that, you know, some of you guys may have heard of, called Girls' Generation, one of the biggest K-pop acts of all time. So why isn't Chanmi part of Girls' Generation then? Well, she was cut from the lineup last minute, literally months before their debut, allegedly because she was too young. Which, like SM, honestly, you should have planned it out better. But, you know, they told her not to worry about it. She was still young and they were planning to debut another girl group in just a few years. And so Chanmi continued training in preparation for this next girl group, which ended up becoming FX. And well, you guys already know, Chanmi was never a member of FX because she was cut from the lineup once again. Honestly, 2009 must have been such a shitty year for Chanmi, seeing so many of her peers such as Girls' Generation and FX top the charts while she was still a trainee. And I guess that must have been all too much for Chanmi, because later on that year, after 5 years of training, Chanmi finally left SM Entertainment. 2010. So Chanmi might have been cut from 2 lineups, but as a former trainee from SM Entertainment, it honestly wasn't hard for Chanmi to find a new agency to sign with, which is why in 2010 she joined Core Contents Media, now better known as MBK Entertainment. These days, MBK might not be considered like a very big entertainment company, but back in the day they were actually pretty successful. They were home to artists such as Davichi, who was topping the charts, Hong Jun-young, a successful trot singer, and Tiara, who in 2010 was on their way to becoming one of the top K-pop girl groups. Core Contents Media honestly could have just added Chanmi to Tiara. After all, they added Hwa-young a couple of months later, and I always wonder if Tiara would have been better off if they had added Chanmi instead of Hwa-young, but I don't want my face getting cut up, so let's not get into that. Core Contents Media had other plans for Chanmi. They were about to debut her in an experimental group called Co-ed School, which consisted of 10 members, 6 males and 4 females. And honestly guys, Co-ed School is such a fascinating group because it contains so many interesting people such as Hwa-young from Tiara's twin sister Hyo-young, Yena from IZ*ONE's brother Sung-min, as well as Zico's brother Taehoon, who is also a possible contender for the Unluckiest idol, so I might do a video on him one day. Anyways, after 6 long years of training, Chanmi finally made her debut with Co-ed School in September of 2010 with the song Too Late. Followed by Berry Bomb? Honestly, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah, that was released in October that same year. I guess Core Contents Media didn't really know what to expect with a mixed gender group such as Co-ed School, so they only printed 20,000 copies of the album. However, pre-orders alone reached 50,000, and so the group was basically a lot more successful than they had anticipated. However, with all of this success came a bunch of problems, and this group was plagued with so many controversies. From one of the members getting into a rape scandal, to the numerous dating rumors that surfaced between members. With all of the backlash that it was facing, Core Contents Media understandably decided to distance themselves from the whole co-ed concept by splitting up the group into a male subunit, Speed, and a female subunit, 5 Dolls.
I can take my eye, 난 몰라 너만 보면 oh.
2011. In January of 2011, Chanmi re-debuted as a member of 5 Dolls with the songs I Mean You and Lip Stains. Oh, and in case you're wondering why they suddenly had 5 female members, basically one of the members, Eun-kyo, was added to make it a 5-member girl group. 5 Dolls actually had a pretty successful debut, and things only looked to be going uphill from there when they released their comeback Like This or Like That in May, which ended up peaking at number 16 on the charts and becoming the highest selling song for a rookie group that year. Oh, and just a fun fact, Chanmi actually featured in Tiara's music video for Lovey Dovey. It seemed like things were finally looking up for Chanmi. But well, this streak of good luck wouldn't last for long, or else I wouldn't be here making this video today. And indeed, 2012 turned out to be a pretty awful year for Chanmi. 2012. It all started when the leader of 5 Dolls, Sumi, abruptly left the group. After discovering some supposed tweets, netizens started speculating that Sumi was bullied out of the group by Eun-kyo and Chanmi. This resulted in a lot of backlash, and as a result, 5 Dolls had to stop all of their activities and go into hiatus, effectively putting an end to what could have been a very successful group. Sadly, 5 Dolls was never the same after. They underwent numerous member changes and their popularity declined drastically. In fact, Chanmi herself left Five Dolls later that year, although she did stay under Core Contents Media to pursue a solo career. Chanmi was presumably preparing for her solo debut when something unexpected happened. Tiara got caught up in their very own bullying scandal, and that blew up into a massive controversy, probably the biggest bullying scandal in all of K-pop. In some ways, Tiara's bullying controversy was kind of beneficial for Chanmi because it completely overshadowed her own bullying scandal, but at the same time it also hindered Chanmi's solo debut because Core Contents Media was kind of dealing with a lot and they probably didn't have the time or resources to invest in Chanmi's solo debut. Besides, it would have been a terrible time for Chanmi to debut anyways because netizens would have likely found out about Chanmi's bullying scandal with Five Dolls, and oh my god, can you even imagine the comments?
All of Core Content Media's groups are the same. Tiara probably taught Five Dolls to bully each other too. Core Content Media has a culture of bullying.
Basically, things would have been exponentially worse for Chanmi, Tiara, and Core Contents Media. And Chanmi, likely sensing that her debut wasn't gonna happen anytime soon, finally decided to leave Core Contents Media and joined none other than Pledis Entertainment. 2013. Chanmi's time at Pledis Entertainment was uneventful, like she didn't really make any public appearances, aside from this one performance that she did with the other Pledis trainees, who interestingly all ended up debuting as Kristen members. Unfortunately, Chanmi herself never got the chance to debut under Pledis Entertainment, although now that I think about it, you know, maybe that wasn't such a bad thing after all.
Ping me, ping me, ping me, ping me. I want you ping me.
2015. Oh gosh, I can't keep this voice up for much longer. How many more years do we have again? The next time we would see Chanmi would be in December of 2015, when she competed in Season 1 of the survival show Produce 101 as a trainee under a new label, Double Kick Entertainment. Most of the contestants were young trainees who hadn't yet debuted. Meanwhile, Chanmi had been training for over 11 years at this point, and she had debuted in 2 groups and was even almost a member of Girls' Generation. So obviously she was given a lot of screen time, although she wasn't always portrayed very positively. Whether or not this was Mnet's evil editing is completely up to you to decide, but she was seen as being very highly competitive, kind of arrogant,
인정할 건 인정.
and she suffered from resting bitch face, which definitely didn't help her case. But the worst part was when the show made a huge deal about how she was almost a member of Girls' Generation, and yet when she finally had the chance to perform Into the New World, which is Girls' Generation's debut song, she messed up big time. And yeah, that was like a huge yikes. Overall, she was seen as having an unlikable personality, which caused her rankings to drop drastically, and she ended up finishing at 26th place, failing to make it into the debut group IOI. And so after the show, Chanmi went back to her label Double Kick Entertainment to continue her life as a trainee. In 2016, Double Kick Entertainment announced that they would be forming a new girl group from the survival show Finding Momoland. Because Chanmi was the most well-known trainee from Double Kick Entertainment at the time, fans were fully expecting to see her participate in the show. However, Double Kick Entertainment said that Chanmi would not be participating because she was set to debut in another group. Now, this other group was never really mentioned again, and nobody knows what happened with it. But on the other hand, the contestants from Finding Momoland then went on to form the group Momoland, which gained mainstream success through hits like Boom Boom and Bam, marking yet another successful group that Chanmi missed out on. For pretty much the whole of 2016, Chanmi remained pretty inactive, and it was assumed by many that she had left the industry and given up. But in November, she unexpectedly made an appearance as a featured artist in the song And You by rapper MC Mom. this time she was promoting as a member of pre-debut girl group High Color, which was under the label Mostable Music. And believe me when I say I tried, but I literally couldn't find anything about High Color or Mostable Music. In fact, there was only like one video of Chanmi performing with High Color at some random festival, and the video only has 7,000 views. And as for Mostable Music, they didn't even have an official website. So it seemed like High Color was a pretty underrated group in a small label. And now that I think about it, it's pretty sad how Chanmi went from being a trainee at a big 3 company like SM Entertainment to slowly signing with smaller and smaller agencies before finally landing in a label like Mostable Music, which I don't think any of us have heard of. All hope wasn't lost though, because in 2017, High Color got the chance to participate in YG's survival program, Mixnine. Unfortunately, Chanmi and her groupmates didn't receive much screen time, so none of them made it into the top 9. Not that it would have mattered anyways. Chanmi did, however, finish at a decent 20th place and was even praised by the other contestants and YG himself for her talent and determination.
허찬미 양 같은 경우에는 적지 않은 나이임에도 불구하고 용기를 내어서 또 서바이벌 오디션 믹스나인에 참여를 하셨습니다.
네.
But more importantly, by participating on the show, Chanmi and her groupmates made the public more aware of High Color. Many people were anticipating their debut, which was set to happen in 2018, and started taking interest in this vocally talented group. With High Color's 2018 debut fast approaching, it looks like this could finally be a turning point for Chanmi. Surely after 13 long years of training, Mostable Music would be eager to make the public recognize the supposed talent and determination that YG saw in her, right? I mean, surely all of her hard work would finally pay off, right? High Color's debut was cancelled. So no explanation was really given for this cancelled debut, but in February of 2019, High Color finally re-debuted. This time not with 4 members, but with 2, and neither of them were Chanmi. But where was Chanmi? Well, nobody really knew. She had left Mostable Music and she had most definitely left High Color, but she had also seemingly halted all of her activities and did not make any public appearances. And so, with no group, no label, and no future plans, much like a dying star whose lights had gone out, Starlight Chanmi slowly faded into obscurity. Or so we thought. In the past 16 years, a lot has changed. Gone were the days of flip phones, MSN, and low-rise jeans. Even Chanmi changed up her stage name. But one thing hadn't changed. Chanmi's burning desire for stardom in the K-pop industry. In January of 2020, Chanmi signed with what would be her 6th entertainment company, First One Entertainment. She launched a YouTube channel where she started releasing covers, and then later on that year in July, she made her solo debut with the songs Lights and the self-composed track I'm Fine Thanks, which highlights the difficulties she had to overcome in the K-pop industry. Despite the lukewarm response on her YouTube channel and on the charts, as of October 2020, she continues promoting as a solo artist, regularly releasing covers on her YouTube channel. And so that's where the story ends for now. Or is it just beginning? As humans, we like to believe that everything happens for a reason. It provides us with a sense of comfort, and it's the reason why concepts such as karma exist. And I think it's also the reason why a lot of fans like to justify the success or failure of a group by assuming things about their work ethic or their level of talent. For example, on my least viewed music videos video, that was kind of a mouthful, a lot of people were saying things like, these groups must have not been successful because they were not talented or they didn't work hard enough. And while it's true that some of these groups do have to work harder, I don't think it's fair to just generalize all of them because as we can see from Chanmi's story, sometimes talent and determination simply isn't enough. Chanmi is a great singer, a great dancer, and as determined as one could be. I mean seriously, name me someone who has trained for over 16 years. The truth is, luck and timing plays an important role in determining success as well. If Chanmi was just a little bit older, could she have joined Girls' Generation? If co-ed school debuted today, could they have been more successful? And if Chanmi had joined Finding Momoland, could she have become a member of Momoland? These are all questions that we'll be left to ponder with. But what we know for sure is that luck simply hasn't been on Chanmi's side. So this was a pretty depressing video, but I hope you guys found it somewhat interesting. As someone who's been listening to K-pop for over a decade now, I've seen so many idols come and go and then attempt to come back again, and I find their stories absolutely fascinating. So if you guys know of anyone else who you think can be possible contenders for the Unluckiest Idol, then please let me know in the comment section down below and let's turn this into a series. And if you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!